Usually I use these to answer questions from different people, my mentees and everything else, and people leaving comments. But I wanted to use this moment a uh, as a way of kind of speaking some encouragement into us teachers and educators out there. It's a Friday currently. It's a Friday. We're at the beginning of March, and so we're almost three-fourths of the way done with school. And usually around this time period, spring fever and everything else going on, it gets hard in the education field. It really, really does. And I'm not sure where you're at and who you are exactly, but man, I just want to speak some life here. Let me start with our new teachers. So once again, Gabriel, I've been teaching 20 years in Southern California. I remember how it was my first years of teaching, and it was grueling. It broke me. It really, really broke me. And so a lot of the teachers I talked to, my mentees are first year, second year teachers, and they are struggling. And you don't really, you go to college, right? You go to college for this, and you take those classes and everything else, and there's different pedagogy and philosophies on teaching. But man, once you get in the classroom, it's a new game. It is just a new game in that classroom. So for my new teachers out there, I just want to let you know, don't lose heart. Don't lose heart. It is. You are not alone. You are truly not alone. It feels like it. You're in this class. You might look at some other experienced teachers, think, I can never do that. Every day you go home just worn out, and you're thinking, I don't know if this is worth it for me. I just don't. And once again, I was there. 20 years ago, I was there. I can honestly tell you, I went home crying. I was a grown man. I went home crying many nights because I just couldn't handle the teaching part of it and the classroom management and everything else. And I was really discouraged, and I had to stay with it because, I had to provide for my family. But man, we had this meeting. I'll tell you where it kind of changed a little bit for me. We had this meeting, and in this meeting, the principal sat down and he showed us this graph. And the graph looked like this. It basically said how many years someone is teaching and how many stay with the profession. And as he showed the graph, first year teaching, second, third, fourth, fifth, by the fifth year teaching, about half of the teachers quit. By the fifth year teaching, about half of the teachers quit. Does that not tell you how hard this profession is? Half the people will quit by year 5. Now, I don't know other professions. I haven't really done professions besides teaching, so I don't know what's like in the other talks. Just talks about how difficult it is to be a teacher these days. But the weird thing is, when I saw that, I actually gained hope. And here's the reason why. First of all, because I thought I was alone. I thought I was the only one struggling in the classroom. And I saw that, I realized, oh my gosh, I'm not like that. I'm not the only one struggling. Half the teachers are struggling in the classroom. Half the teachers don't make it to year 5. I thought, oh my gosh, it's not just me. And so that first of all gave me hope, because I thought it was me. And it definitely was partly me, but it's because I was just so new at the profession. What a profession. Think about this. What a profession. Do they throw you right in the middle the first day, right? It's not like we have this little cushion. It's not like first day a teacher goes in there and they do a class or two, or they get the easiest student. No, boom. That's it. You're a teacher. Bam, there you go. You're on par with everybody else. Not many other professions are like that. They kind of work you in. If you get a job at McDonald's, right? If you get a job at McDonald's, they don't throw you in the register right away. All right, go for it. But you're teaching, we do that. And so it's a very hard profession. And so I'm looking at this, go, wow, year 5, half quit. But then the other thing I thought is this, you know what? If I can make it to year 5, then I could maybe do this the rest of my life. If I can make it to year 5, I can make this a career. So I set a goal for myself to make it to year 5. And then 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Now each year, it was still tough. But it got a little bit better each year. And if I'm 100% transparent with you, I did not fully become comfortable being a teacher in the classroom until about year 7. That was for me. Now, most people are much better than I am. Most people are better teachers than I am, and most people will hit that mark way before I did. But it took me 7 years to finally get comfortable in the classroom. 2 years beyond that 5-year mark, right? But I can tell you, it was worth it. It was worth it because one thing nice about this teaching job is it is a career. And so the fact that I was able to make it through year 5, and then finally year 7, I became really comfortable who I was as a teacher. From there forward, I'm 20 years now, 20 years teaching. Man, I love teaching. And how many people can go to work saying they actually love what they do? But I can't. I love teaching. And so my advice to you, my words of encouragement, if you're a new year teacher and you are struggling, you're not alone. You're definitely not alone. It's going to take some time. There's a huge learning curve. It's going to take some time. But eventually you can get to a point where not only are you comfortable in the classroom, you actually like being in the classroom. So hang in there, hang in there. It does get better. All right. So that's my word to the new teachers. And this maybe words to the new teachers are another problem that comes up quite often in the classroom, and you hear, especially here, the kids these days, right? How many times have you heard that? Kids these days, what's with these students? Oh my God! And so, out of my specialty is classroom management. That was my Achilles heel at the very beginning. My Achilles heel at the very beginning was classroom management. Back to year 1, 2, 3, 4. That is what was so rough. Today, that's probably my strength as a teacher is that classroom management. But without that, it is so hard to function. Without that, it's so hard to be a teacher in the classroom. And so that's key thing to get hold of that classroom management. So for those that are suffering right now, those that are having trouble with students in your classroom, here's my words of encouragement for you. One is you can definitely learn the skills to make it better. There's definitely skills to make it better. You can do the tips and tricks and routines and all these things you can to listen, read about. You can do these things to make your life a little bit easier in the classroom. That's the first thing, all right? But the second thing is this. I read David Goggins' book, Can't Hurt Me, and I listened to him speak and everything. I love David. I just love the way he is. I love the way how, boom, to the matter of fact he is. Doesn't hold anything back, right? And so David Goggins talks about how he created a mental cookie jar. The cookie jar is the idea that anytime something good happens, you put it in the cookie jar, right? Mental, emotional cookie jar. And so whatever that might be, hey, I graduated from high school, boom, put that in a cookie jar. Hey, I passed this test, cookie jar. I found my wife, cookie jar. First kid, cookie. All these memories, everything, all these accomplishments you have, you put in the cookie jar. All right. And then what happens is when you go through those moments that are hard in your life, where you start full of doubt, and you're still wondering, is this really it, and everything else, you reach into that cookie jar and you pull out something of encouragement to you. So whatever that is, you pull it out to keep you going. So as a teacher, I have this mental cookie jar going all the time. Because I don't know how your year has gone. At my school, I kind of took over our detention program, and that's tough because I'm constantly dealing with behavior, not just in my classroom, but more specifically on the school-wide level, and that's tough. It is draining. It wears you out. Students are yell, disrespectful, you name it, cursing, all this stuff, right? Not so much in my classroom, but when I was doing detention, the school-wide. That was tough. And so I would have to keep going back into my cookie jar for encouragement. So I want to share with you, first of all, the concept of and here are things you put in your cookie jar. If a student comes up to you and tells you, hey, this is my favorite class, boom, put that in your cookie jar, all right? Favorite class, cookie jar, got it, all right? Hey, I really like you as a teacher, put it in a cookie jar. I really like this assignment, cookie jar. If another teacher comes up to you and says you're doing a good job, cookie jar. Anything that's positive, you put into that cookie jar because you're going to need it. Because throughout, the rest of the year, there's going to be kids trying to take things out of your cookie jar. They're going to, I don't like you, you're a bad teacher, I don't learn nothing, whatever else it might be. And you have to keep going back to that reserve to keep the encouragement going. So for me this year, here are some things that I put in my cookie jar. One of them is a student, and it happened like this. One day, the students were working on a we call them Ed Puzzles on a Chromebook, and have to watch a video and answer questions. But he finished a little bit early, and he was talking before this about how he plays chess and how he beat all the teachers at chess. And so he challenged me to a chess game. And I said, you know what? Bring it. Bring it. You know, I played chess as a kid, and I haven't played chess in, oh gosh, years. I said, come on, let's do it. And so we played chess online. And now, I didn't take him seriously. You know, I think, 8th grader, whatever. And so we're playing, and I'm kind of doing my grading as I'm playing chess, you know, online, everything else. And next thing I know, checkmate, he won the game. And I was like, oh my, what? I can't be beaten by an 8th grader. I just can't. And so I said, okay, no, wait. That didn't count because, you know, I was distracted. I was grading. Let's do a rematch. So a few days later, we did a rematch. And we did the rematch, and he beat me again. 2 times this kid beat me. 8th grader beat me 2 times. I said, that's it. Now I oh my gosh, what's going on? You know, you only can make up so many excuses. And so I said, that's it. So every day since then, I've been playing at least one game of chess online. And so I think as of now, the count goes something like this. I think I have 4 victories. He has 3 victories. So I believe I'm currently winning our overall tournament match with each other. But whether I'm winning or losing, the fact that me and this other student have this connection over a game of chess, that is a cookie jar moment. That is something I'm going to cherish for the rest of my life. I just know it because I just love the camaraderie between me and him as we're playing this game. So it's a cookie jar. Another cookie jar. There's this young lady, and she voiced to me once that she really enjoys my class. I'm her favorite class, which is great. But here's the nice thing about it. We'll be doing notes, and I'm looking over the room. As I'm looking over the room, I look at these faces that are just kind of blank, you know? Most students are taking notes, but they're blank. It's history. I love history. I don't know how many kids love history, you know, but a lot of faces are blank. But I look over at her, and she is smiling, and she is listening, and she's laughing at my stupid jokes that I tell, my dad jokes, and I'm like, man, you know, it's students like that that make this all worthwhile. All right. And so, cookie jar moment. When I think I might be losing all the students, I see someone like her or somebody else that actually seems interested. Oh, that is good stuff. Another cookie jar moment. There's this young man that comes in. Every time he comes in, we do that little whole thing from, was it Big Hero 5? That fa la la. You know, we kind of do that fist bump and then a fa la 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 thing. How small is that? But I look forward to that every day, the cookie jar moment. And then just think about some other things that has transpired. Taking back a year or two, when I first started my YouTube channel, I had this class. It was my favorite class. It's been my best. It was like my best year ever. It was about 2 years ago. I was right out of COVID. And I was in the class. I had an aide, and we were working the class together and everything else. And that's the same year I started my YouTube channel. But we made a deal with the students. We said, hey guys, if you guys are earn so many points, we are going to, me and this other teacher, are going to dress up. Do you guys remember that whole thing, Island Boys? That was a long time ago, Island Boys. We said we're going to dress up like that, and we're going to sing. Now, in all honesty, I did the math. I thought there's no way these kids are going to save up all those points. There's no way they're going to get all those points. It just isn't. Because that means all the students would just have to be on board, working together, get all these points. And what are come on now. You know how hard it is to get one student to do something, or how hard it is to organize a small little group, but to organize 30, 40, 60, 90 students to all do towards a common goal, impossible. I said there's no way they're going to. So I set the points very, 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 very high. I think within 2 weeks, they all hit the points. And like, oh gosh, I don't want to do this. This is out of my thing. By the way, if you want to see that video, it's on my YouTube channel. I think it's called I think it's called Bobcat Boys, where we actually sang for them. We did a parody on Island Boys. So it's, once again, YouTube channel, look it up, Island Boys, or Bobcat Boys. But we did it. So me and this other teacher, we dressed up and replicated that song, and we let students draw on us like our tattoos and everything. And would I do it again? Probably not. Probably not. But I gotta tell you, it was a moment I'll remember forever. Cookie jar moment. And then going back even further, some other things that have happened. There have been times where I had a chance to actually pray with a student who's going through some hardships, and we pray together. There's another student that I shared something with it with Rich Dad Poor Dad book, and later on in life, a few years later, I run into him at Starbucks, and he's a realtor, and he said the thing that changed his life was reading that book, and because I shared the book with him and my ideas, that changed the whole trajectory of what he did with his life. Oh my gosh, to know you have that kind of impact, wow, right? What are jobs you have that kind of impact? So, cookie jar moment. So my advice to you is have your cookie jar. Have those moments. When good things happen, savor them. When bad things happen, and they will, trust me, not all students you're going to get along with, go back in the cookie jar and pull out something to keep you going. So that's my advice if you're kind of having some trouble right now, with students and everything else. Next bit of advice, another problem comes up, some words of encouragement. What happens if you don't get along with your administration? That's a big one because they actually can kind of control the culture of the school. And if you're having trouble with the administration, that can be very disheartening. Maybe they write a bad review for you, maybe just a personality clash, maybe it's something else that's going on. You don't like the way the decisions are making or they're running the school. There are all sorts of different things going on. And it could be to the point where it might be enough to kind of push you out of teaching. My words of encouragement to you are this. If this is really a career that you love, if this really is a career that you love the students, you love teaching, and all that, if this is really something you want to do, don't be discouraged by administration. Well, you're going to be discouraged, but don't leave the profession because of administration. I've been teaching 21 years now, and me and this other coworker, we kind of just did the math on this. During that time period, during those 20 years, I've had 7 principals. So once again, I teach history, not math. But if you take the number divided by 7, that means I had on average a new principal every 3 years. 3 years. So here's my word of encouragement to you. If you're having trouble with your principal, your administration, or anything else of that sort, just know it probably won't last. I mean, they probably will not last. Because if in fact they're there for only 3 years, they'll be gone, and you can have a fresh start with a new person. Now, not saying they're going to make it along. I had one teacher not even make it. So one person might make it a year, one that only made it a year, 1 year, another one only made it 1. So it's all across the board. And usually the ones that you have trouble with are the ones that are not there that long anyways. So please take heart that if you're having trouble with administration, if you're having kind of trouble, personality-wise, anything else, but this is something you really love, stay in it. Stay in it, because there's a good chance they will leave before you will. All right, so that's my advice on that one. Next word of encouragement, maybe this job just isn't for you. This is where it becomes important for you to really analyze and think, why is this job not for you? If this job is not for you because of principal, we kind of talked about that already, right? There's a good chance they're going to leave, administration. If this job's not for you because you're having issues with the students, classroom management, there's tools and tips and tricks and all those things that we have. And once again, I mentor teachers with this. So, by the way, once again, here's my plug. If you do ever need to, I offer a free course on classroom management. I'll make sure I put it in the description down below. So if you need any kind of help, please look at that free course on classroom management. It is yours. And hopefully it helps. And if you need any help beyond that, I am here for you as well. But there's tips and tricks and stuff you can do to help with that classroom management and the behavior of the students. But if you just finally come to the conclusion that this is not for you, it's not what you thought it was, and this, you don't have a passion for this, I want to give you the okay, if you need it, that it's okay to quit. It really is. So if anybody's ever guilting you to stay, just cast them aside. All right. I have 3 kids, and my advice to my kids all the time is find something you love and do it. Find something that you love and do. I don't care what that is. The hard part is finding that thing. right? The hard part, and I listen to Gary Vaynerchuk and everybody else, and they all say the same thing. You gotta have a passion for it. You gotta find something you want to do. When you double down and you go for it all the way, but find that. And if this is not it, please don't beat yourself up. You only have one life. You only have one life, and you want to make the most out of it. And the last thing you want to do is be stuck in a job that you regret. Now I know there's all sorts of financial stuff, and who knows what else goes along with it. But the bottom line is your happiness is the most important thing. So if this is truly not something you're passionate about, just truly not something that you are called to do, it is okay to quit. But if it's because of one of those other reasons that can be fixed, please find the assistance, find the help so you can fix it. Because in my opinion, this is a wonderful profession, a wonderful career. And the last bit of encouragement I want to give is this. To be the best teacher, you need to be the best version of yourself. And that is hard. Because I don't know where you're at in your life. There could be so many hope, not just on teaching, but just giving hope up, or just that there could be a better life out there for you. And so I want to give you some words of encouragement. If you're going through some hard times now, and we all go through hard times, oh my gosh, man, I'm just thinking back to my life, flashback of the things that happened in my life. We all go through some hardships in life. That is part of life. That's part of the human experience, right? But please take heart. Please know that it can get better. It will get better. And I'm going to be honest, I don't have all the answers to this. I mean, this is a philosophical nightmare here to talk about all this stuff, right? And trust me, there's been plenty of times I've been down and sad and everything else, and really thought, what is it all worth? But from my experience, here's what I found. Here's what I do when I go through hard times. The first thing I try to do is I try to frame it, put it in the proper framework, and I call that seasons. We all have different seasons. Life is different for me now, and I'm a different person now than I was when I was 18, when I first, got my first real job, when I became a teacher the first time, when I had my first, right? We have all go through different seasons in life. And so you want to look at what is going on and put it in that perspective of a season. Because if you're struggling right now, there's a good chance it's just a season. It's going to be hard. I'm not saying it's not hard or it's easy. It's not all rainbows and nothing like that. It could definitely be hard. But if you understand that it's a season and that this will pass, that alone gives you the foundation to kind of keep going forward. So look at your life big picture. Let's say, for example, hopefully I don't get too personal here.